Hey guys, welcome back. TMax here, and welcome back to this series that we're doing on the cultural observations that I've made over the last 3 years. If you haven't seen the other videos, go ahead and check them out in the link in the description below or wherever I post it. But this week we are jumping into fashion. So fashion is different everywhere in the world. I'm not the kind of person who knows much about fashion. I don't really keep up with the trends or anything like that. I usually wear my own clothes, stuff that I make myself that promotes my YouTube channel or promotes my fitness channel. So that's pretty much all the stuff I wear, fitness stuff. But I do notice some things that are like very specific fashion choices that I just can't not notice. For example, living in Europe for about 10 years, some American trends did make it into Europe, but Europe had very much its own style. But in China, there are certain styles that I wasn't expecting to make it here that are here. And it's not like a certain group of people that are doing this fashion, it's everybody. So for instance, in the US, if somebody has a Yankees hat and it's like a fitted, probably like a cool guy or something, or somebody trying to be hip, maybe a younger, maybe 16 to like a 40-year-old man, maybe some women probably into sports or something like that, and that's about it. And you probably wouldn't see them wearing it unless it's a really casual situation. In Europe, the only people you ever see wearing that kind of stuff are people from America or people who are into like hip-hop culture, something like that. And everybody else, you'd never see a Yankees hat. Here, man, I see like grandmas on the subway with a Yankees hat, or just, some old dude working in the field with a Yankees hat. Like, why would they be wearing a Yankees hat versus just a normal hat? So somehow that fashion made it here. And again, so the Yankees hat is also something that's indicative of a certain type of culture. And Jordans, the sneakers are also this same style as something. If I see you wearing this type of clothes or shoes, I'm thinking like you like a certain type of culture. But here you'll see, a 70-year-old woman just walking down the street with Jordans on. And I don't think she's, a basketball player or into hip hop. She just happens to be sporting a pair of J's, or some guy like cleaning the streets, he'll have his like orange gear on and just some Jordans, and it's like, okay, and they're probably knockoffs, but still, it's just this very interesting fashion choice. But then, of course, in the Chinese hip hop culture, or the people who do like the Western culture, they will wear the Yankees hats and the Jordans, and maybe they're the real versions, I don't know, but they're wearing it for that reason. But you see a lot of people who are wearing it just because it's clothes. Hey, you gotta wear clothes. And when you're working in a professional environment or a business casual environment, you expect to see slacks and shirt or something like that. And women, again, I can't comment so much on women's fashion because I feel like the rules are different everywhere. But for men, if I'm wearing slacks, and I guess these short slacks are really popular now, but here it is professional to wear the slacks. They're almost like capri pants that like leave this much above your ankle, and they're not wearing socks with dress shoes. Is that a thing? Are we doing that in the West now? I mean, I've been outside the country for a while. Am I that far behind the times? This is so strange to me. This is not professional at all in my eyes. And young guys are doing that here, like when they're going to job interviews and stuff. I'm like, you're not gonna get the job, dude, but maybe they will. One thing I do notice that women do, regardless if they're in a professional environment or if it's in a casual environment, instead of buying slippers, they'll buy regular shoes and they'll just step on the heel. And they've stepped on it so much now that heeled shoe is now just a slipper. I see this at work. I see women like with a nice, business suit on, and then they're stepped on heeled business shoes, or somebody casually with sneakers and they just stepped on the heel. Why don't you just buy slippers? It's popular, it's fashion. And so I did mention knockoffs earlier, and of course you will see lots of that, and it's really noticeable, especially when you see brand name things when the name is spelled incorrectly. Burberry, there should be 2 R's. Christian Dior should not be Christian Dior. Sometimes they're not even close. Like if you switch one letter, it's like, okay, maybe you don't know how to spell it. But like when you're using whole different letters, because instead of Gucci, I've seen Goodid. I'm like, what? Why? So I guess they just thought the letters were spaced out, but it was actually one letter. Instead of Supreme, I've seen Supteam. I'm like, a T and a R are not that close, but if you don't speak English and you don't recognize English letters, maybe these letters just look the same the way their characters look the same to us. When I first arrived in China, I used to teach adults English, and I remember I had a class with a girl 2 days back to back. And I walked into the class the second day, and she sees my clothes, and she's like, "Did you change your clothes?" And I was like, "Yeah, because it's a new day." And she's like, "Oh, I've noticed that Westerners tend to do that. You guys will wear different clothes every day." And I was like, "Oh," and I didn't even realize that she was wearing the same clothes. And she was like, "Yeah, we will wear the same clothes 2 or 3 days a week." And I didn't even think about it. But then when I switched to an office job, and I see some of my colleagues that they'll wear their business outfit, their business suit 2 or 3 days in a row. It's like, wow, you did wear that yesterday and the day before. And apparently that's just normal. I think you see it more with women. I don't be paying attention to guys like that, so maybe guys do it too. But girls definitely, especially if it's like a really nice outfit that she has, she's gonna wear that at least 2 or 3 times a week. I think some people, the utility of clothing is just the only thing on their mind. So maybe their sons or daughters or somebody bought them some clothing, so they wear it because it's clothes. But I'll see, especially older people, will wear shirts with slogans on it and stuff, and I'm like, I know you're not representing that slogan. And just like 2 or 3 days ago, I saw this lady walking down the street. She had to be like in her 60s, and her shirt said, "Come to Daddy." And it was like, all right, yeah, you work that, Grandma. So for the expats out there, what kind of fashion trends have you seen here that kind of surprised you? If you know more about fashion, maybe you can even answer some of the questions that I had in this video. Just go ahead and leave comments below and let me know what you think. For everyone else, go ahead and hit the thumbs up and share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.